Welcome back to Jaded Joy Stories. I'm your host, Brutus, and today, we're diving into the captivating world of malicious compliance. These tales from the depths of Reddit showcase the art of turning the tables in the most unexpected ways. Before we delve into these stories, make sure to hit that like button below, and subscribe to Jaded Joy Stories so you won't miss any of our videos. Your support keeps the stories coming. Now, let's jump right in. Story 1. By user, Batkevn. As a young adult, I decided to move several hundred miles away on a whim without a new job lined up. Fortunately, the relatives I was living with knew a ton of people in the small town and were able to get me a job within a week at the local grocery store. I was to be a courtesy clerk, bagging groceries and stocking shelves. Immediately, I made friends with coworkers and some of the customers weren't too bad either. However, management was a different deal. Like the HR manager who would waste a customer's time telling them recipes for the items they have and holding up the line. She would also call me from the back of the store to bag 2 items and help the man barely older than me to his car, despite him protesting. There was also John, the general manager. John would be nice in groups, but if he got you alone, his true colors would show. He once berated me for having a 5 o'clock shadow even though I shaved right before work. My hair is dark and grows quickly. Sorry, dude. Can't help nature. After a few months, the night janitor, technically early morning, quit. John decided it would now be my job to polish the floors every morning. My previous job was at a movie theater, so working from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. was normal. Mornings? Not my jam. This would require me to be at work by 4 a.m. But I was told this would be for 1 to 2 months tops. I was even thrown a sweet 5-cent raise for my troubles. How could I decline? After a month I asked John how the search for a replacement is going. He says probably 2 weeks and everything will be settled. After month 2 I ask again. John says the first person fell through and suggests that maybe I know someone who might be looking for a job. I assure him that is not the case. After the 3rd month, I was completely over it. Again, I approach John and explain that I cannot keep doing this much longer. He replies, not my problem. Find someone else or a new job. This pissed me off, but I wasn't in the position to walk out right then. I figured I'd start applying anywhere I could. A couple of days later, possibly even the same day, my relative drags me with them to go look at new cars. While discussing prices and waiting for the sales manager to respond, my relative and the salesperson were just BSing and I mentioned what John had told me about the job. The salesperson raised an eyebrow and walked away. Moments later the sales manager approached and said they were looking for a detailer and asked if I was interested. It would be a regular schedule, no evenings, and higher than even my previous theater job, as a manager. While my relative was signing financing paperwork, I was filling out a new hire packet. I was to begin work on Tuesday of next week. When I got home, I packed a bag and began driving to my hometown to visit friends. I knew I wouldn't have to work for about a week, because at midnight I called the grocery store and told them I would not be returning to work. If you have any questions, please ask John. Epilogue: a year or so after my departure, John was mysteriously no longer working at the store. Nobody knew why as he had another 5 years before retirement. One day I had to go to the bank to deposit a check and John was the teller. It was so fun to watch him deposit my paycheck from my new employer. Now, that's how you handle a terrible boss. This person went from bagging groceries and dealing with awful management to landing a great gig and watching their former boss deposit their paycheck. Talk about a satisfying ending. Story 2. From user, Troikos. Okay, so just to preface this. I'm a cabin crew member, flight attendant. I've been doing it for over 10 years. Any issues that crop up during my workday I will bend over backwards to accommodate people, if I can. However, there are unfortunately a handful of people that are dishonest to try and get what they want. Fake injuries to try and get upgraded, fake birthdays, you name it, people have tried it and believe you me, I've had loads of scenarios where people try to cheat the system because it makes them feel special or that they have one-upped me, I guess? Let me tell you about a fake vegetarian I had on board. He was flying in economy, coach, in the second from last row. He wanted the pasta option. I apologized and told him due to popular demand we had run out in the middle of the cabin, but we had the chicken option instead if he wanted they. Without skipping a beat he said, I'm a vegetarian. Last time they brought me a meal from business class, so I will just wait for that. Now, this is something I would have offered anyway as a nicety, if available, as I'm not too much of a dick and I genuinely like helping people out, if I can. After all, it's a 747, not a 7-Eleven, as the saying goes. Anyway, the way he just expected it right off the bat before I could even offer a solution left a slightly bad taste in my mouth. And also I smelled a rat. I was 99% sure that I had cleared an empty packet of smoky bacon crisps from him earlier on, and no, they weren't a veggie brand as I have the same ones occasionally. I was certain that he was being picky and wanted a higher quality meal. Plus, any regular flyer would know how often we run out of the veggie option and to pre-order a veggie meal. I said, "It's unfortunate that you didn't pre-order a vegetarian meal. I will see what I can do for you though, just give me 5 minutes to finish up here." Anyway, I went up to business class. They had also run out of the veggie option. So I went up to first class and asked if they could spare anything. We ended up putting a few leaves together with a bit of dressing. They spend thousands of pounds more up there and can dine at any time, so they didn't want me taking any of the hot vegan options in case someone wanted it later. Fair enough. Then I thought, I could probably have some fun with this fake vegetarian. Cue malicious compliance. I brought it back down on a silver tray and held it above his eye line so he couldn't see what it was. I explained that unfortunately the vegetarian business class option had run out, then he went to cut me off so he could complain, but I held up my hand and said, however, I managed to go one step further and I got the last vegetarian meal from first class. Then I pulled the linen cloth off the top of the tray as I placed the salad down in front of him. It really was a very basic but large salad and his face said it all. His face went from a smug, haha, I worked the system, to WTF is that, within 2/3 seconds flat. He then said, I wanted something hot, I'll just have the chicken then. I put on a shocked face and said, I cannot give you that sir, I would feel awful. He responded with, don't worry about it, it's fine. I gave him an, are you sure you're vegetarian? Look and bring back the chicken, by which point it had been sitting drying up in the oven a little bit longer. Bon appétit. Just to say, even if he was a real vegetarian, he should have pre-ordered. Same goes for gluten-free, vegan, children's meal, diabetic, etc. Anyway, that's my story. Sorry if I rambled a bit. Now that's how you handle a fake vegetarian with some malicious compliance. This flight attendant went above and beyond, even securing a first-class salad, only to watch the passenger's smug expression turn to disbelief. Moral of the story, honesty is the best policy, especially when you're flying. And that concludes another journey through the tales of Reddit. If you enjoyed today's story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Jaded Joy Stories, so you never miss out on the next adventure. And hey, if you've got your own story to share or a suggestion, feel free to drop a comment below. You never know, you might hear your story read one day. This is Brutus. See you next time.